Hi, everyone. Good evening. I'm just going to wait for a second for a few people to join. I think you can hear the seagulls in Brighton. I hope you don't mind. I hope you don't mind hearing them. So first people are joining. Hi, welcome. Hope you can hear me all right. Oh, people are raising their hand. Hi. Just wait a few more seconds and then we'll jump right into it. Okay. Hi. Hi, Maria. Hi, Chris. Yeah, say hi if you're here so I can see what's going on and who's here. Say hello, please. Don't be shy because I can't see anyone. Okay, you can hear me. That's great. That's great. Beautiful. Hi, guys. Ah, now I see names. That's nice because it's like I'm talking to myself here. Great. Hi to the Netherlands. Welcome, guys. Thank you for tuning in tonight. So good, so good to see you all, to see your names. Thank you to Way Up North for having me here. Thank you to Pic-Time. I'm really excited to introduce you to the Pic-Time galleries, to the Pic-Time Art Galleries. In case you have not explored them yet, I'm going to show you what they look like and how they work tonight. And I'm going to kind of show you how to take the first steps in curating your own gallery and curating your body of work in order to sell it as art. Really excited. For those who don't know me, I'm Nadia. I'm a portrait photographer. I did destination wedding photography for 10 years, for the last 10 years. And now I'm a freshly turned portrait photographer and I'm focusing on that. I'm Italian. I was raised in Germany and now I live in Brighton. I've been here for 3.5 years and I'm very happy here by the sea, hence the seagulls that you can hear outside. I have to have the windows open because it's really warm today. If it's warm where you are right now, kudos to you for still showing up to the webinar. Thank you, guys. Yeah, let's dive right into it. I'm really excited. I'm going to share my screen with you just now. So hopefully that will work. Another thing, beautiful. Another thing that I wanted to say, that while I do the presentation, I cannot see your questions, but please pop your questions in the Q&A tab that you can hopefully see in the chat. And once the presentation is over, I'm going to address your questions if you have any. So just pop them in there. So how do you turn your photography into art? How do you become a curator of your own work? All of us, pretty much all of us, except Sweden actually, have been in lockdown at home. I think Sweden hasn't been in a official lockdown, right? We lost our jobs. We couldn't really work in the last few months. If you're watching and you're a wedding photographer, which is a lot of you probably, then most weddings have been canceled or postponed to next year or towards the end of the year, smaller weddings. So yeah, we don't really have a lot to do at the moment, except for maybe portrait shoots where you can just work one-on-one, but nothing big. And for a lot of you guys, the main source of income is just gone for now. So having a print store and setting up something like the Pic-Time Art Gallery is a really amazing way to diversify your income right now. And maybe that is something you have already done. Maybe that's something you're already doing with another system or in a different way. I'm going to address that in a minute. Because you're a photographer. And so it's natural. It's a natural thought that occurs to just sell prints and sell your art, right? But maybe you're one of those people who has actually never considered it before. Maybe like me, you've tried it, or you were hesitant and you didn't really know how to do it, how to find the time, or it didn't really work out well. So I hope I can help you today a little bit if that's something you're considering or have thought about doing. As wedding photographers, obviously, we're used to a different way of working, right? Because, of course, we have a client, a very specific client, and we create a product specifically for that client. And when you sell art, when you're selling prints, you're not working for anyone in particular. You don't know who your client is. You don't really know who's going to buy what you're putting out there. You create something, you put it out in the world, and then you wait, hope, and see who connects with it and who buys it. And it can connect with very different types of people, of course, for so many different reasons. It's the same thing with paintings, with music, and so many other things. You know, a musician sometimes writes a song out of a very specific event in their life and emotion, and millions of people connect with it for so many different reasons. They interpret their own events, life events, into the song. So yeah, selling your photography prints is a very different approach to being a service provider. Very, very different. So you have to kind of make that switch in your brain. Keep that in mind while I keep talking. I don't know if you've ever been to IKEA and seen, I'm talking to Sweden again. Like Cole said that a lot of people tuning in tonight are from Sweden. So of course you've been to IKEA and you probably know this print right here. So when I first saw this print years ago, I'm pretty sure IKEA does not sell this anymore. I saw this print and I thought, gosh, this is so bad. Generally, like the prints at IKEA were really bad. They have improved a little bit. But yeah, this picture right here, I mean, no offense if anyone does that kind of thing. But I cannot be the only one who has thought this. Please tell me I'm not the only one that has thought this about this image, or images like that. I cannot be the only one. I'm sure you've seen it, and I'm sure you've had maybe a similar reaction to me. So every time I saw that print at IKEA, I kind of thought, what I have at home on my hard drives, even just photos from my travels, is so much better than the prints that IKEA is selling. Why the hell should I not have the confidence to sell my work for people to hang on their walls? I know, like, that might seem like a very low bar, like, to start with. I'm better than IKEA. Wow. But that is a good thing, actually, guys, because we don't want this process to be too intimidating or too fancy, you know. I want you to see that what you do can be seen as art. And I hope that I can take some of that fear away that we have around selling our work and when it comes to the word art and what that means. And every time I blogged or even just posted on Instagram, like photos from my travels, people would ask if they could have a print of this or this. And I thought, well, why not? Maybe people actually do want my photos on their walls. Just have a look at your friends' houses, at your family members' houses, on their walls. What kind of pictures do they have on their walls? What do they put up on there, and where do they buy it? So why should those images not be your prints? Why not your photography? You might think, but what I shoot is not art. But really, what is art? Art is whatever you want it to be. We know this to be true, right? Art is very subjective, and different things sell, different things connect with different people. Art is so controversial. It's not just one thing. It's not just one truth and one answer. I mean, how many times, again, I'm sure everyone will answer this with yes. How many times have you seen a painting or a photography or photograph that is famous and super expensive, and you thought to yourself, it's okay, I could do that, right? How many times have we thought this? I'm just going to show you this photo, which I'm sure a lot of you know. The picture is called Rhein. It's the River Rhine in Germany by Andreas Gursky. And this was up until 2014. It was the most expensive photograph sold in the world. And then it was overtaken by someone else. As you can see, I'm stepping up my game here. I went from IKEA to the most expensive photograph in the world, just to show you like the difference. Obviously, there's a huge difference in price point. This image was sold for $4.3 million, this picture. There's obviously a massive difference in the price point between this and the IKEA bus picture. But it doesn't change the fact that people paid for this and for the bus picture. They saw some kind of value in it. They felt something that made them want to spend money, right? And ultimately, the value of something and whether it is perceived as art is decided by the buyer and by the client, not by us, not by you. I love this quote by Simon Sinek: value is not determined by those who set the price. Value is determined by those who choose to pay it. It's as simple as that, basically. If you think you cannot sell your photographs because they're not good enough, because they are not art, well, that's not up to you to decide, really. You put it out in the world and see what happens and see who connects with it. So I've been selling prints for about a year now, and I started selling them on Etsy first, as digital downloads only though, because I didn't really want this, I'm going to like confess to my lazy side. I didn't really want the hassle of having to get orders printed and framed and packaged and shipped to people myself. I didn't want to do that myself. Like, I'm all about if I have a passive income stream, then, well, it has to be really passive. I don't want to do any more work than I really have to. So Etsy wasn't that great for that purpose. So I sold digital downloads on there, and then people would go and print the photo themselves, which obviously is not ideal. It's not very nice in a way. And it's also a bit cheap for like really nice photography prints, right? So moving forward, I'm really excited about Pic-Time's art galleries, because now the printing and shipping and all of that stuff is just taken care of, because in the Pic-Time art galleries, you can, you pick your lab in the world that you want to work with, and then people can order the print, and it can be just the print, it can be framed, it can be whatever you want it to be, an album, a gallery board, and yeah, all of that beautiful stuff. And you don't have to do anything. People just receive the fully framed thing, and it's done all within the art gallery. So I'm really excited about that. And what I have been focusing over the last year selling my images on Etsy was what you can see right now on the screen. I've been just selling my travel photography. When I travel, I always shoot film. So I was only selling film photos, analog photos. So that was my specific topic. Only my personal travel photos, only shot on film. And this is how I categorize them into countries where I've been. Pretty simple, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. Absolutely not. You can do that. Lots of people do it. It works. It worked for me as well. And it does work for a lot of other people. But whatever topic you choose, it comes down to selling your photography, comes down to being a curator of your art. And being a curator of your own work is really, really hard. Whatever photography industry you're in, whatever photography branch you're in, it is really hard and difficult to curate your own work because you are more attached to it. And I'm sure with being a wedding photographer or portrait photographer, you know this. You know how difficult it is choosing between the thousands of images you shoot, because you experience the moment, you were there, and you feel for your clients. And we've all seen those wedding blog posts with 150 images, and maybe some of us have made those blog posts with 150 images, and so many of them are similar. So I think specifically as wedding photographers, we do struggle with curation. because there's so much emotion attached to the images. It's not easy, and so we end up choosing way more than we really have to. I'm really not an expert on selling fine art photography. I'm going to say that outright. And so you might wonder, what is she doing here? Why is she talking about this? I was wondering that too. And I asked myself the same question when I was approached. And some of you listening might already sell photography as artwork and as prints, but I know for sure, because you're watching, the majority of you don't. And I'm in a similar boat as most of you. I'm not coming at you with like a 25-year experience of selling art. I'm coming to you with like this fresh newborn perspective, and I'm learning along the way about curation. And I'm just sharing today what I've been learning over the last few months of selling my work online. So it's kind of a fresh perspective and a very new learner perspective, as all of you that are watching as well are. So we're all learners and we're all in this together. Selling your photography comes down to being a curator of your own work. How do you do that? How do you curate your work? How do you find those gems that will sell, that you can put out there? This is what I'm going to be talking about today a little bit, and then introduce you to the art galleries and give you a little run through how they work. And how to curate your work, there's obviously a few answers to that. Not just one, not just my answer. As I said, I'm not a year-long expert on this. This is my personal take on it and my process at the moment. And I hope you can take something from that and work with it and take it from there and make it your own. So first of all, I want to encourage you to use what you already have at home in your hard drives, like finding the gems in there. Because you might think what you already have shot and what you already own is not good enough. And that's not art and that's not special. But that is not true. You can make what you already have work for you. So the first step in curating a collection is, even before picking a theme, a topic or a story, what you want to go with, the first thing is to approach curation from a place of emotional distance. And I know that sounds bad, but hear me out. When I say you need emotional distance, obviously as a photographer, that sounds a bit weird because it is a very emotional job and we love our photos. They're like our babies, aren't they? But what I mean is you cannot be, when you're doing this, you cannot be emotionally attached to the subject in the photo. People print photos of their children, put them on the wall because they love their children, right? That does not mean that is a photo that will sell. That doesn't mean that a wider audience will buy it. It means something to those people who put it on their wall because it's their children, because they love them. Your feelings about a photo, your feelings about the subject in the photo, don't make the photo automatically sellable. So you have to kind of walk the fine line between your personal emotion and the universal emotion that everyone connects with. And that's, I guess, is the best way to explain it. You can't be emotionally attached to the subject in the photo. It's not about the subject. It's about how the photo makes you feel. What feeling does it evoke? Not the subject, but the photo in general. It has to work for others as well. Even people who don't know the person in the picture, even people who have no emotional attachment to the subject in the photo, it has to make sense to them as well. It has to work for them without them knowing who was photographed. So not being emotionally attached to your work and to the photo means this. It means quality, not quantity. It means you have to be very, very picky and ruthless. You have to kill your darlings, as so to speak. And if you struggle with that, with being picky and deciding, It really, if you struggle doing that alone, just get help from someone else. I wouldn't do this publicly. I wouldn't do a survey and a poll on Facebook or Instagram like a lot of people do. Oh, should I, black and white or color? What should I do? This edit or this edit? Don't do that publicly, but go to someone you trust, someone that's as good as you or better than you in your eyes. And it can be a photographer or not. If you know someone who works in the art world, in a gallery, for example, or is an art agent, just get a different set of eyes on your images and help them be ruthless with your work if you struggle with doing that by yourself. But the important thing is be picky. A good curation is usually, almost always, very small because the more there is, the more overwhelming it is. So now that you have that mindset, don't be emotionally attached, kill your darlings. Now we move on to picking the theme and telling a story. And this is where it might seem contradictory to what I said before about not being emotionally attached, but it doesn't, because your art comes from inside of you, right? So you always, as photographers, we want to tell a story that, and we are telling a story, even sometimes without realizing it. We want to tell a story that is birthed inside of us, because we want it to be personal, but also universal, this story that we're telling. And it might sound strange, but it isn't. Personal and universal, I mean, our stories that we have, our life stories, our life events might be different. They will be different from person to person, but the feelings attached to those stories are the same. That's how people connect with different pieces of art, with music, with paintings, with photographs, with stories, with writings, with books. The stories might be different. Like, oh yeah, I didn't experience this, but I know exactly the feeling that this person is describing. I know exactly the feeling that I'm seeing in the photo. I know exactly the feelings that I'm hearing in the song. We all know joy and love and sadness and grief. We all can relate to feelings. Even if something is personal, it can be universal. So again, when talking about art being personal and emotional, it's not about the subject. That personal feeling is not about the subject. It's about the feeling in the image, the feeling that is evoked. Let me show you a good example of what I mean. These pictures are by Jan Palmer. And this is a great example of personal versus universal. This is a universal topic, like family, a family photo. But nobody would hang this photo on their wall other than this family, other than this specific family. Because you can see like their faces really well, and it's kind of a cute like family portrait shot. This is a good example of something that's personal. It shows like the subject. It shows feeling as well, but it's too personal and not universal enough for someone to go, I'm going to spend $200 on this and hang it on my wall, and I have no idea who these people are. This image, also by Jan Palmer, is a good example for something that is more universal. It shows an emotion and a feeling, but it's not about the subject. You can't really see their faces well. It's not about them. It's about the feeling. It's about what you feel when you see this moment, this snapshot, this split second that evokes a feeling. And it can be a different feeling for different people, right? What this makes you feel instantly. So this is a good example of personal versus universal. Both images have feeling in them, but one is more universal than the other. I hope you're following. Now, what I did previously with, my having my galleries in categorized in countries, just Paris, Japan, Morocco, Italy, South Africa, was fine, was perfectly fine. But I was thinking, like, how can I connect to someone on the other side of the screen while telling a story? Not just a story of these are the places I've traveled, but a story of who I am and what I've been through. What can I tell them about this image? What can I tell them about me and about themselves? Because people buy stuff that says something about themselves. We buy things all the time because we want to express something about who we are, right? And that's the same with art, especially with art. So this is what my art gallery looks like now in the revamped version. And instead of just simply selling travel photos of the places I've been to, I decided to tell more of a story of the last couple of years of my life and what I've been through. So people will connect with this based on what the words in the gallery make them feel or not, based on if the images evoke something in them or not. When you are picking a theme and a story for your collection, look out for that. Look out for these things, for patterns. Do you have pattern in your work? Something that you do over and over again? Do you have like a favorite type of light that you always like to use, or colors or textures, a favorite type of weather, seasons? Is your pattern maybe a mood? Is it a story? Like it could be so many things. Is your pattern a question? Maybe there's always the same quest in your photos, in your photography. And are you maybe able to weave your personal story together with your images? Can you do that? Can you find a way to do that? I think you can. For example, I'm going to show you one of my galleries, which is called Wild Woman. For me, this is connected to my own personal journey in the last 2 years. But I didn't really know that until I went through the images that I have shot of women in the last year and kind of realized that they were really telling a story about myself. And I was trying to see me in the people that I was shooting. These images are the story of my divorce, the story of being broken, of regaining my voice, finding my own identity. So photographing these women for me was a powerful thing because I see myself in each and every one of them. I mean, there's also one self-portrait of myself in there, but photographing these women for me was deeply, deeply personal. And so I've been trying to translate that into universal. So with this gallery, with the Wild Woman Gallery, I am bringing together my personal story and my photographs throughout that story and throughout that I've been shooting throughout that journey. The quote that I have in here is from a book that also is part of my journey over the last year. It's called Women Who Run with the Wolves, and that is hence the name of the gallery. So look for patterns, for the things you see repeatedly in your work. Look for your own story and how that story and your journey has seeped into your images without maybe you even noticing it. Like ask yourself when you go through your hard drives at the end of this is interesting to do. Look at your images and ask yourself, like, where were you at in your life? What were you going through while you were taking this? Because I didn't really notice what I was doing with those portraits of women until I asked myself that question. What were you going through or learning at the time? And did it bleed into your work? Can you see that reflected in your images? Even if it's wedding photos or portrait photos or your own personal photos around your home or around your travels or of your children. What were you going through when you were shooting this? And that is a very, very interesting exercise to do. And that can help you weave together your story and your images to curate something beautiful. The next thing and the last thing to look out for when you are curating your work is don't just look at things that are pretty. Don't just do pretty. things that evoke like cute and good emotions. Again, this is something we are used to do as wedding photographers, making clients look flattering and pretty. We're used to like looking out for that to make our wedding clients happy. But look for other things like interesting, sad, ugly, mundane, polarizing, weird, disgusting, unusual, things that are layered and complex, things that are angry. I mean, the list could go on and on and on. Instead of just looking for pretty and flattering, we know that life is not just black and white, right? Life is gray. It has so many layers. Life is multidimensional. And you can find that tension and that complexity in your work maybe as well. Maybe you cannot find it right now in what you've already shot, but maybe moving forward with the stuff that you create in the future, you can try to like look out for those things that are a bit weird and are a bit different. Even if it doesn't apply to what you have on your hard drives right now. It's actually very interesting, like to follow a theme that is a bit different. Let me show you an example by William Eggleston. A lot of you might be familiar with his work. And when I was reading about him, what I found interesting is, and you can totally see that in these images, is that his work is often defined by the absence of people. So they give the impression, these images give the impression that someone was just there, but they left. They just left the frame. They're just gone. And that's like his theme in a lot of images. And it's super, super interesting and fascinating. I love that. And that's something that I want to look out for more moving forward as well, because it's a very like everyday, mundane story that goes beyond just beautiful and beyond just pretty. There's nothing wrong with pretty either. But that's just something to look out for, you know, to challenge yourself and to grow. And this is one important thing. Obviously, you won't be ticking all of these boxes all at the same time. That is important to mention. But what works for you right now? What can you do like right in this moment? Even if you don't have anything complex in your work right now, you can still start, right? You can still start with what you have. You can start with point 1, 2, and 3 with what you have right now. You can go through your work. You can pick a theme. You can find a story, see the patterns in your work. You can detach yourself emotionally from the subject, focus on the feeling, focus on what it evokes in you and what you want to evoke in others, and curate a small selection for your first art collection, for your first art gallery. So this is what you can do right now, even if not everything is applicable to your situation. So you can create your first little collection by paying attention to these points that I've mentioned above, and it will make it easier for you in the future just to moving forward to curate what you have, even to curate your wedding photography images if you're blogging or if you're delivering to your client. Now, let's talk about Pic-Time. In case you didn't know what Pic-Time is a workspace for photographers where you can set up online galleries with whom to deliver the images to your clients. You can integrate those galleries to your website as well. You can have a store for your clients. And since last year, we have amazing automated email campaigns so that you can sell to your clients in your sleep, basically. This is just an example of what a gallery looks like. So if you send a client a gallery with their images, it will look like this, like a beautiful portfolio gallery with a navigation menu with different folders. They can download, they can share. In the upper corner, you can see the shop and the little card and everything. So this is kind of what it looks like. Here's a little screenshot from the shop. This is what, like a little overview over Pic-Time. And Pic-Time it was mainly for like wedding photographers. It is mainly for wedding photographers. But now as you could see online, I think on Tuesday was it, we launched, in Pic-Time, we launched the art galleries, which is specifically aimed at selling art. And it has nothing to do with the wedding gallery functions. It's its own thing, and it's just gorgeous. Let me show you. So this was obviously what I've done before with my gallery, but let me show you some examples of other people's gallery. This is a gallery by James Frost Photo with amazing, amazing images of, I believe they're all in the UK, around the UK and like Iceland and stuff. They're gorgeous. This is Annie Graham's gallery, just to show you that you can have like your own bio at the top. You can have a video at the top. You can have sound at the top as well, or sound attached to your products as well. I'm going to show you in a minute. This is by Nirav Patel, beautiful portraits. You can change like the background colors. I'm going to show you that as well. Yeah, just a few examples of what it looks like, how you can set it up, having your bio on top or not. Not everyone chooses to have that. And then the prints at the bottom. This is actually later on. I'm going to talk about that, but let me show you inside Pic-Time. Let me show you how it works and what we have. In case you are new to Pic-Time or you are not subscribed yet at all, let me show you how it works on the inside. So this is the art galleries. When you log in and you go into your art galleries, this is what it looks like. Very simple. On the side here, you see your galleries that you've created, and then you can preview your gallery here. If you click on this, is the online space basically. And I'm just going to show you how what you can change here, right here. So if you go here on top, you can create a new gallery. Right now I have two, but really easily here you can create a new art gallery, and you can call it, Japan, if you're selling pictures from Japan. And you can pick the language for this gallery and upload a cover photo, and then upload your photos right in here and set up everything else that you want to set up. If we're going back, this is offline now because I haven't actually created it. But let's go into one of these galleries, and you click on, actually, let me show you still up here, the menu. So this is how you create a new gallery right here. This is this one that says style is how you can change, your backgrounds right here. We have presets that are pre-made right here, or you can do a custom style, and you can do a custom background color, custom title, everything. You can customize the font, how big the font should be, how big the title should be, and how you want your logo to show up, if it should be dark or light. And you can change your grid right here as well. You can see how it's changing when I click those. And here's a little help icon. So this is how you style your gallery, how it will appear here actually online. Then let's go into one of the galleries, and I'll show you how to actually set up a product, because that's fun too, and it's a little bit more complex. Again, in this space right here, I'm going to show you online what it looks like. If we go into this gallery, this is what it looks like, right? And you can change the size of these images right here. The grid, I'm using the special grid right now, which is all spaced out, and you can move it around and customize where the images should, I could put this here, or, I can just move it around. That's the special grid. And then there's a 3-column grid, 2-column grid, all of that. Again, you can use style presets, or you can customize the background and fonts and everything, or just use a style preset. if you like any of those 6 presets right here. So let's just add a product so I can show you how to do that and why this is important. First of all, before we add a product, I have to mention that it does make sense. You have to go into your settings, store pricing, and set up a price list just for your art gallery. So there's a default price list on Pic-Time, you know, if you're a wedding photographer, and some people have like 10 different price lists up here. If you click on this edit price list, you can add a new price list basically. So this is the art gallery price list. And with me, for my art gallery, all I'm selling is just simple prints and framed prints. That's it. I'm not selling anything else for the art gallery. So first you want to go in here, create your art gallery price list and decide what you want to sell. In my case, I'm just selling fine art prints, none of those. And then you price them, you pick your lab that you want, and you apply it, okay? So this is super important that you have your price list all set up, and now you're good to go. So to start off, let's say this would be empty. You want to add a new product. You click on plus product right here. And then this will pop up, select a product in the store, choose the photo, click done editing, right? Self-explanatory. Let me walk you through it and let me show you how this works. Okay, let's pick a print right here. And then it will show you like the images that you have uploaded. So these are the 4 images I have already uploaded. I could upload actually a new one just to show you. That would probably make more sense. Let's see if I can start this again and just upload a new picture. It probably won't let me. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Wonderful. Photos. Let's go back. So this is my Wild World gallery. And I'm just going to upload a new image just to show you the full process. So because these are already priced and it's already set up. So photos uploading. And then we can go ahead and create this product together. Good. Done, done, done. Still uploading. My poor internet today. Okay, let's do this again. Let's go add a product. You pick the product. You have your images here. So you want to untick, if anything is ticked that you don't want, you want to untick those. And I'm going to take the new photo I've just uploaded. So this is the new product I want, right? And then I will pick the size that I want. These are the sizes that I've chosen for the prints in this case in my price list. I'll pick the size. I pick if I want, you know, border or no border. And then I click done editing. And then this pops up. So this is, you can name your photo in here. I'm going to give it a very unoriginal name at the moment, and you can put like a description in here. You can add a recording to present, you know, your product as well. You can add your own voice or something else, and then add the product specs here. Like you can describe the product right here and put like a description of what it is. This shows you the price again. And then the other cool thing that you can do here is you can add a variant. So which means basically that under, if you click on a picture, you can see all of the variants of one product, right? And you can do this here by adding variant. So you click on that and it does the same thing that you just saw. It does that again, basically. You go to prints, you have your photo here, but then you pick the different size, right? So I just did this, now I'm picking this size, done editing, and now you can see it has the 2 sizes here, and you can add, 10 more sizes, 10 more different products, how many ever you want right here in the product specs, and then hit apply. And there you go. It should show you your your product right here. And because I have the special grid selected, I can like place my product anywhere I want, really, and kind of space it out and make it bigger or smaller and play around a little bit. So now let's preview this. Let's see what it looks like. And if everything worked out, I hope it did. Yeah, here we go. So we click on this and you can see the 2 variants that I have applied right here. And this could show your recording as well, as I showed you before, with your voice describing it or with a piece of music. And the nice thing here is because you can add voice and music and videos to the art galleries, it kind of also shows how different art forms can work together and make something really amazing and beautiful, like spoken word and writing and sounds and images and visual. So that's pretty neat and really cool. Yeah, so this is how the galleries work. Let me show you a few examples that are really gorgeous of some amazing Pic-Time photographers. So the first one right here is a gallery by Jacob Loafman. He has 4 galleries right here. A little bio. Well, it's not a bio. It kind of describes what he is selling. It describes what he's interested and curious about. So just to show you his Super Bloom gallery, for example, as you can see, very simple images, very small selection, very just simple and neat and clean. And there's a color theme that we can see here, right? There's a little story. You can add all of that. This one is gorgeous by Brie McDaniel. I love these images so much. Images of empowered motherhood. Let me show you this one, the chromatic one. These are just stunning images. Simply stunning. I can so see those on the wall. Again, they are personal, but very universal because they go beyond just like a pretty picture. There you go. Then we have Birdie, who also sells beautiful, I have to show you these. I love this one. I love this gallery a lot. So these images, like you look at them and they evoke something different for every person that looks at them. So they are intimate and yet they are universal, just to give you an idea. This gallery is by Ryan Moorhead, and he is using like video right here and sound in his galleries as well. Again, lots of interesting, weird, different, unique feelings in these photos, right? Very different, just very unique, beyond pretty. So these are the galleries. Let me do this. Stop sharing screen. Okay. Now, if you have any questions, let's see. Okay, we have questions here. I'm going to read them out because I've been informed that you cannot see them. The first question by Elena is it possible to have 2 parallel price lists with different print labs depending on where the customer is located, having one for USA and one for Europe, thinking it would be better for shipping costs if the print lab is closer to the customer? So with the art galleries, I don't think you can have multiple price lists because you just have that one gallery. But what we will do actually is there will be a feature added where the system will kind of pick the closest lab to the client that is buying. So actually, if someone is in the US, it will pick a US lab for them, even if you, as a photographer, you're not there. But yeah, that can definitely be done. Actually, you can have, I was lying, you can have 2 price lists, but you will have to, you can only select 1 price list for 1 gallery. So you have, let's say you have 3 galleries, you can have 3 different price lists for those, and just assign those, but not 3 price lists for 1 gallery, if that makes sense, right? But yeah, there will be this feature, I'm not sure exactly when, but it will happen, where you can actually, the system will pick the closest lab to the person that is purchasing, which is really exciting. That's pretty neat. So that will happen. So that's good news. How do you set the price of your photos? This is a question by Maria. Do you only have 1 price for every photo, or do you make differences? Well, I think like what you would normally do is have different prices for different sizes. So it's all up to you. If you just want to sell 1 size, let's say you just want to sell mega big prints, you can do that. And just have 1 price for that. If you, like me, like I offer, 4 different print sizes and 2 different framed print sizes. So obviously they're going to be priced differently, because one is smaller, one is bigger. If that answers your question, if you meant something else, let me know. There's one exciting thing. Let's go on to the good stuff. If you have more questions, put them in the tab. But you can win something. Everyone that's watching and that has subscribed for the webinar can win a 1-year subscription with Pic-Time for free, including the art galleries. So whether you already are subscribed to Pic-Time, you'll get another year on top, or if you're not subscribed, you can win a year subscription with Pic-Time with the art galleries included in them. And one included in that package, you can also win a mentoring session with me, and we're going to curate your art gallery together. So I'm going to help you curate a little collection to launch your art gallery. So this will be aimed, this prize is aimed obviously at someone who really, really wants to do this and wants to sell their art prints. The art gallery on Pic-Time is a separate subscription normally from the normal Pic-Time wedding or photography gallery. So that's one subscription. The art gallery is a separate subscription, so you would have to pay separate for that. We launched on Tuesday. Pic-Time launches on Tuesday. And for the next 2 weeks until July 7th, if you sign up until July 7th for a paid subscription, and you create your art gallery with at least 3 products, so you launch that thing, you actually put it out there and it's online, then your art gallery will be free. You don't have to pay extra, but only till July 7th. And if you are already subscribed to Pic-Time and you are on a paid plan, same thing, you can get the art gallery subscription for free as an add-on if you start setting up your art gallery, add at least 3 products and put them online and start selling. And then your art gallery will be free, just bundled up with your normal Pic-Time subscription. If you have any questions about that, let me know if that didn't make sense. But this offer is just for the next 2 weeks until July 7th. So that's very special, very cool. If you don't want to pay for both subscriptions. Yeah, and this is how you can win the prize. What you will have to do is you'll have to start curating and practice curating your work. So what the challenge is for this is you have to create one collection of 3 to 6 images, more or less. You have to pick a theme, and it doesn't have to be just images. You can, accompany them with words, with a story, with sound, however you want. Dive into your hard drives, into what you already have shot. You don't have to shoot new images, and see what you can work with. I probably like some of you already have ideas. Some of you are like, oh my gosh, where do I start? Like, I only have travel photos or I have nothing. You can absolutely curate a selection of your travel photos and tell a story with those. That is absolutely possible, and you can make it really good. So go through your images again, look for the story, look for the patterns, ask yourself questions while you look at those pictures. Even with wedding photography, you can go and look for the abstract things that you maybe shot at weddings. Even maybe you shot stuff at weddings that doesn't look like it's connected to weddings. Pick a picture that you thought is ugly maybe or weird. Look for the non-obvious, right? For something interesting, something that is not the obvious pretty or the obvious beautiful, something that is personal, but also universal. Don't be attached to your subject, but look for the feeling that is evoked. And look for patterns, what is repeated in your story, in your work. Can you see a story in them? And how can you connect your story to your photographs? So that's the super the way to do it, and that is the thing to keep in mind. And this is how you can go about working with this challenge, and maybe hopefully win the prize that Pic-Time is giving out. We have another question. What is the offer? What offer do you mean? Is it the one I just I just told you about? The price or the Pic-Time offer in the next 2 weeks? Maybe you can elaborate. Basically, I said that for the next 2 weeks, if you sign up to a paid Pic-Time subscription and set up your art galleries, it will be free for you to use and not an add-on subscription. So yeah, how we will do the challenge and the giveaway is basically that in the Way Up North Facebook group, there will be a thread where you can post the links with your collection. So some people, you could do a blog post with your collection and describe your story in the blog post, or you could just do a Dropbox link with your selected images and just put that in the thread in the Facebook group. So that will all happen in the Way Up North Facebook group. It will be one collection of 3 to 6 images. And just show us what you got. Show us the theme, show us the story, show us the weird. And yeah, just try and start curating. And I'm really excited to see the entries and what you come up with. Remember, you can win a year subscription to Pic-Time, including the art galleries, and one mentoring session with me where we will both together set up your art gallery and kind of curate something that you can sell online. So this is it. The other follow-up question was the offer until when is the Pic-Time offer? The Pic-Time offer expires on the 7th of July. So in roughly 2 weeks. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you for coming to the webinar. I really appreciate it. Thank you all for being here. And for listening, and I hope that you have fun curating. I hope you have fun with the challenge, and I will see one of you in the mentoring session. I'm really excited for that. Yeah, I hope you have a lovely evening. Enjoy the heat and the warmth wherever you are, or a good morning wherever you are in the world. And I will see you soon, hopefully somewhere in the world. Bye.